Hey guys, it's Matt. I'm back. It's been a while, but gonna be playing another game today. Play another school Scrabble champion. This time it's Jackson Smylie. He's NASFA rated about 1800 or so. I think he's been as high as about 1870. So, a good friend of mine. I know his game very well, and so that'll probably influence some of my decision making. We'll see. I've got 6 vowels to start. My next move is going to be an exchange. Um, really don't think of any tile he can give me that would not make me exchange. Actually, I could maybe play to an M. I could play odium or something. Iodide or iodine might be worth it. The IU leave is going to be pretty bad, but this is probably an exchange 5. And some of you may think well, I mean, with 3 of these eyes, there's only 6 more for me to draw. Yeah, don't do that. Don't keep an eye. Not a good idea. Um, that's about best case scenario for me is Jackson exchanges 2. Um, when you exchange small like that after spending a while, you like your opponent to put a tile out for you. It increases your chances of bingoing. So Jackson has no floaters to work with. Um, don't know if this actually bingos. It looks nice-ish, but I don't think it's quite nice enough. So maybe I can luck out and Jackson can miss a bingo again. That would be sick. Because if Jackson bingos, I'm not going to have a very strong counterplay. If he doesn't bingo, I can play Guild or GLEDE or something. Assuming Jackson does exchange again, I don't know exactly what I would do. Maybe I'd play red leg. 20 points. The S here is going to be pretty bad. Okay, well, Jackson must have drawn UY on his exchange. That's unfortunate. Again, I'm almost certain this doesn't bingo with the U or the A. I'm not even going to look anymore. GLEAT is 15 points, holds RD. GLEDE, I'm pretty certain is a word. It's 16 points and holds RT. Jackson's placement of Yucca here, I think, is the standard, so we can't deduce that he has an S, but given the exchange 2, it's relatively likely. ACEST or ACERT seem like the most likely leaves, or canes or something. Actually, yeah, I think if he has an S, or if he has like an R and a T or something like that, he's probably got a longer word than just Yucca. So I think the S is, or a blank at least, is pretty likely. This is still really standing out to me as a play. Putting the E in a double-double when he's probably still a little more bingo prone than average is not the best thing to do, but I don't think GLEAT is so far superior that I should be, or so far better. I get putting the L here is not going to outweigh that, the worstness of GLEAT, I guess. Well, I didn't think about bingoing to the Y, but I don't think that's happening either. I'm going to go ahead and play GLEAD. And I don't get any more E's. I get a bunch of consonants. Not a great start. I do have marvels for a lot, though, but I think Jackson's playing over here most of the time. There's also travels, but marvels is clearly better. Eight more points. So maybe Jackson will challenge. Like his knowledge of 5s is not superb, but I don't think I'll get that lucky. Well, maybe he'll challenge and it's actually not a word, in which case I wouldn't be getting lucky at all. But yeah. If he does play over here and doesn't give me marvels, I'm trying to think of what I'll do. There's not much. Larva. Larva's good, decent. Takes the E and the L and probably an S. Oh, he didn't block it, so I'll play Marvels. Cool. And now I'm back to another like weird clunky rack. Okapi is probably gotta be the word I play out of this, just because when you have Okapi, you pretty much play Okapi. Um, there's not a real hot spot to dump the K or the P, so I just kind of want to play my way out of this rack as fast as I can. Okapi here, wow. Nope, ear. Sorry, that's not a word. I seem to do that a lot in my my annotated games. I never do that in tournaments, but well, maybe I'm just psychic because Okapi. Yeah, Okapi is 37. It's got to be right. Make the play, save your time. You know, there's nothing else to see here. Man, this is weird. I just go from like too many vowels to one balanced track to too few vowels to too many vowels, and now I'm back to too few vowels. Like, I've been able to score just fine. I've got a 40-point lead despite the way I've been pulling, so, not complaining, not just a little confused and a little frustrated. I don't like looking at bad racks, but when you can play out of them, they're not actually bad racks, so. It would be really nice if I could make some sort of play here, but I can't find anything except just like dumping the F or the H here. Or going through here would be awesome, but again, that's probably not happening. So fib here looks pretty strong. HLST is the leave. That's gonna bingo a lot if I draw two vowels and a consonant. I can also just play fob through the O to keep the vowel, but that seems a little aggressive. It is defensive in that it's going to minimize Jackson's counter play options. He's not going to be able to score on that triple word as easily, but I don't know. A play like Olea, I don't think I should read that much into. You know, it's possible that he's just keeping two vowels, two consonants after that. Maybe three vowels, one consonant, but... There's also flab. That scores, not even as close to as much as fib. It's 7 fewer points, but HIST is definitely a better leave. I'm not screwed if I don't get vowels. I'm going to go ahead and, flab is going to reduce the value of my S pretty significantly. There's also like hilts or some sort of word along here making yuccas, but there's no way that can be the right thing to do. Bitch is 17, but, fitch is a word too. But, Fitch is going to give Jackson easy points here a lot, especially if he's got vowels like I think he does. Flab is going to reduce the value of my S, but also be damage control if he's got one. I think Fib is going to be... but Fib gives up the abo spot right here. I didn't notice that the first time I set it down. All of the options here are bad for different reasons. I am going to play Flab. An E will give me DHIIRST. I'm not sure about that flab situation, but I could have played half last turn too, but I'd rather keep the H than the B. Yeah, I don't want to think about that flab situation too much more. I've had games where I'll, look at a turn like that after I've made the turn and just keep thinking, and then it really gets in my head and just makes me play poorly the rest of the game because I'm stuck on that one position. You just have to get over it and assume that you've done something well. I was not expecting Jackson to have a bunch of high-scoring consonants for 36. This has been a weird game, I think, for both of us. Just stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, how are we drawing like this? This is weird. I can dump the H for 22. I can play shag for 31. I don't know if hyper takes an S. My inclination is to say yes. In fact, I'm about 85% sure that it does take an S. But I don't know. And that's going to make the rest of this game kind of difficult to assess unless the spot goes away or something. I don't really have many plays there. I have thirds. Actually, that's 25 points. Shri is 28. Or shit. Tish. Dish. It's alright, 30 points. Sets up a bingo line over here. I don't like doing against Jackson because I think he's a little bit more bingo oriented than the average player, but unless the bingo actually ends in an E, like, it's not a great line. We've still got this R to work with, and from the D for bingos. The D is marginal, but the R is a pretty strong line, so it's not like opening a line is the worst thing in the world. Hypers may draw a challenge, and I think I do want him to challenge because, again, I think it's a word. I don't think I have, like, shirt is a word, but I don't think I have any sort of play that will go up here and also hit this. Dierish or Tyrish, I don't think those are good. Trish is not good. Thirds is 25. Dish is 30. Dish does take a back Y, but both of the Y's are out, so that doesn't matter. There are a lot of T's out. Probably draw another one. Man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Hits is rather aggressive. It sets up the S for me. I don't think Jackson's going to have a W very often, or a C. But I'm not going to score a ton in this spot. DIRST is a pretty bingo-y leave if I can get an E, but I don't need to bingo right now. If hypers is good, then the board is good for bingos, but man, this is a complex situation, and I'm not sure what to do. There's also frith up here, and that's actually going to negate the hyper spot for the most part and set up my S. But with only one S on the board, another here, the odds are a little bit more likely than average that Jackson will have an S. Is that too cute? That's the question. I'm going to go with no. I'm going to play frith because I think it pays off pretty big time for me. There's not really a lot of scoring options available on this board. So I'm going to do this. Ooh, I on my pull. Okay, that backfired hard. But, you know, it's not often that you draw I, and you can't expect to draw quadruple I's. Iris is available for 20. It blows up my S. I no longer have that. You know, ruins the setup I've just made. But I don't think I can play off more than one I over here. IRTH is 5. Iritis is ridiculous. Oh, that's so frustrating. Thought I had made a really good play and just get royally screwed on the draw. Vow came very fast. Makes me think Jackson's bingo heavy, bingo oriented right now. Just kind of a no-brainer play for him. Does that mean he's got an S? I think if he's got an S, he has to think about making a play over here. Does it mean he has a blank? I'd say that's a decent shot. But what can I really do about that? I can also play TT here for 6. DIIS is not good. but nothing I keep this turn is going to be good. I can also just exchange. Probably ITS is the best thing, so throwback IIID. With all the T's unseen, I might keep IDS or just IS. And I was talking earlier this game about, you know, with 3 eyes on the opening rack, should you keep one, you shouldn't. Here, half the bag is unseen, and there's only 2 eyes left. So I'm actually comfortable keeping one, especially with only 3 A's left, an even number of E's. I'm going to make an exchange 5 holding IS. None of my consonants score well, so I need to pick up a scoring consonant to hit the 15 spot. And I did pick up that scoring consonant, but I don't actually think it makes a word over here. I've got Nazis. There's Jackson's bingo like I thought he'd get. Nazis is 36, I don't even get to cash in the S. He did have an S in his bingo, so it's actually pretty huge for me that he wasn't able to cash it in any way. Nazi is 28, it gives up enormous counters on the other side of the Z. Oh, I can play Nazi over here, that's a way better place to play it. Yeah, that's going to hold on to my my S. I can also play ZA. AIINS is actually going to be like relatively bingo prone right now. But there's no A's left, so the avow spot is as good as mine for the rest of the game. Oh, I have ZTs for... Yeah, that's got to be the thing to do. I can't believe I almost missed that. Just so focused on putting my S here that I didn't think about it anywhere else. I'm going to play ZDs, hold my A's for the avow spot. And yeah, I've got Waxen now for 44. So cool. Jackson is bingoed. I haven't. I've still got the lead. I love when that happens. And it seems to happen a lot for me and not very often for my opponents. It's just a product of the way I play, but I think that's a nice product. Nix is 38 if I want to hold on to the A's for later. Waxen's 44. Wage is not even worth considering. The X is... This is the only good X spot on this board, unless I can pull like an O word with an A here and an X down here. Jackson's best chance in this game is going to be to draw a blank in bingo. Or at least that's the way he's going to be most threatening. I've got tiles right now to score pretty well. I like my chances more than average to win a game where we both don't bingo again, or we both bingo the same number of times again. Not a huge favorite in those games, but a favorite enough. I think if it were my position right now, I could not make this decision. It would tear me apart. I think I would play Nix. Hold the A's on a board pretty devoid of scoring spots, aside from having the S here or actually drawing a 5 starting in a Y. Having the A for over here is big. Oh, that's going to change the game a lot. Jackson has, created lines down here for bingos. So suddenly all the things I was saying about, oh, well, there's nowhere to score on this board, that's different because there's tons of bingo, or friendly bingo lines available. Actually, the longer I look at that, YOD is going to be there, but that's about it. YON. Okay, that's a decent line for him to hit. I don't have any sort of extension from the YO, I think. But this does, I think, strengthen Waxen as a play for me. Nix is holding AAEGW, which is not superb, and now that there's more bingo opportunities on this board, I want to try and enable myself to maybe hit some of those, rather than just keep scoring 30 for the rest of the game. There's also blanks unseen, and those are going to be pretty important, more important now. The S unseen, which is going to be big over here, so I want to play off more tiles. I'm going to play Waxen. And I did get one of those blanks. I have octagon and yawn. Rogation from the R. So that's big. I'm very happy I pulled that strategically. I don't have a bingo with an S, so the frith spots is not a possibility for me. Ugh. Jackson bombs a J. I've got a decision to make now. I guess I should figure out all the bingos I have to figure out what I can play. D, E, F, G. I think octagon might be the only bingo in this rack. Or the only 7-letter bingo. So I don't know if I should play octagon or if I should play rogation. Octagon gives up a yoni underneath and bingos that go here, but it manages to take out the R and this spot. I guess rogation is also gonna knock out this spot, unless he has one ending in like NE, which given the pool is actually, you know, the most likely thing for his bingos to end in. I just noticed the Q can go up here, but there's no A's for Qua. QIS is only a remote possibility, and that burns the S. I'm just trying to think of ways that Jackson can score very well so a bingo won't get him back in the game. Oh, I do not know which bingo to play. If Jackson does have the S, an octagon allows him to set up yoni and then yonis or yonic even, and that could be scary. It'll be blockable though. I think I'm just going to run with the bingo that scores more points. That's going to be the thing that sets him apart. I can't make the decision on my own. I've drawn QI. I have QI. I don't really care about the S here or the S here because, again, only one S out, and it's going here a lot of the time anyway. If there's one big S spot, what's the difference between 2 or 3? Like, I'm going to have to dump this Q pretty quickly, I think. As much as I'd like to play more tiles and try and get that S or that blank, or both. And as much as I'd like to play some defense and close things down. Jackson plays, he sets up over here, Pier or Pied or Pies for bingos. So I've got a different concern now to worry about. I can't figure out what kind of leave Q is going to hold. I mean, obviously pretty good if he's playing it that fast and he's opening the board again. And even then, there's not too much I can do if I do know he's got a good leave. Like, I can try and get rid of this stuff over here, but he can still bingo with an S. I can try and get rid of this, but he can still bingo down here. Jackson gets to keep fishing for the rest of the game. If I play QI, I go up by 69. So I can let him keep fishing. A bingo here is probably going to win the game for him because it'll score so much, but here might be livable, and if it comes here, it's less likely that it's got the S, which means it's more likely that I can have an S for a counter if I need it, or a counter here. Man, I wish this were Collins. I would just win the game right now. Play chin and hold chin for down here too. I don't care if he bingos, but I'm going to play QI. I think I have to. That rack is not really going to help me right now. I'm in a situation where the bingo is impending, the pool's so nice, I've just got to outrun it. And best case scenario is his bingo has all the good stuff in it at once, and he ends up with a clunky rack, maybe with both of the U's and the F, and he gets rid of the E's, the S, and the blank in his bingo. So I hope Jackson actually has a very good rack right now. He bingos. We both have 7 tiles at that point. I get to go out before he does, unless I'm a moron and don't play the end game correctly. So I kind of want Jackson to bingo now with all of the good tiles. I do have this, which is a nice 24-point play that gets rid of a bunch of my tiles. I'm going to have to worry about emptying the bag or not emptying the bag with Jackson's next play, but say Jackson scores 20 here, he'll be down 49 or 50. I'll make a play. If he, say I make another 20-point play, leaving 1 in the bag. If Jackson bingos, he'll be down about 70, so his bingo will put him up somewhere between... he might be somewhere between tied and up 15 if he's able to get the best spot on the board. Or maybe 20. He'll have 1 tile, so he's definitely going out in 1. And I'll have to score more than he can get from that tile plus my rack. So my chances of winning I don't think are very good. If Jackson fishes here, I leave 1 in the bag, and then Jackson bingos. But we'll see how much he's able to score this turn, how much I'm able to score the next turn. I'd be very happy to see Jackson also just plunk 1 or 2 tiles for about 6 or 8 here. And I do see a lot of lower rated players lose games in situations like this, where they know they need to bingo to win, and instead of trying to score enough to where the bingo will actually win the game for them, they just... Wow, I was not expecting Jackson to do that. He must not have had the blank, otherwise Bustier comes down. He probably had BEIRSSU. But that's going to put me in a weird situation. I have to figure out which combinations he has that will bingo out. There's Fortune if the D is in the bag. DFNOTU blank I don't think bingos. DENNOTU blank is going to bingo a lot. You know what? I don't even think it matters because I can block all of these bingo lines with DENTIN. I don't think he's coming from this non-muted, maybe? I don't think so. DENTIN is going to score so well that even if he plays a big play here, I'll win. It does take the back E. Maybe there's another 6 to make. I shouldn't just play the first one I see. DENTIN seems to be good. I can also play it here if I want to, but there's the remote possibility that he's able to bingo through this N, but I just don't have the time to really think about that situation. DENTIN also knocks out like a well, he's not going to have a setup with U anyway, so actually he can play YOUS and he'll have the E, but so will I. I think I have to do this. Wow. Wow, and the blank is in the bag. And that takes a very cool game into a really lame one. Jackson's probably mad right now. Obviously, he knows that I've just drawn the blanker. I'm bingoing with DENTIN. So that's funny. Unfed, that's fine. So 10, what? 13 over here. 33 over here. I think not going out here is going to be the correct thing to do. So there's 20 more. Minus 2 is 18. So Jackson's not going to score 18 when he goes out. So there we go. Cap a little more spread. And that was fun. I got very lucky at the end. You know, he missed a bingo on a couple turns. He never drew that blank, and I ended up getting it. I was not in a great position, but then Busier came down, and that was it. I presume he held a U with that. I could be wrong. Maybe it was an E. But all right. Well, again, thanks for watching. Always happy to hear what you guys have to say about these games. Yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching. Later.